The leader of the mercenary group, the mercenary rebellion that happened in June, or tried to start, is now presumed dead. This all happening in Russia. Russia's Civil Aviation Agency says Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin was on the plane that crashed north of Moscow, killing all 10 on board. Western media has yet to confirm these reports. The crash coming exactly 2 months after Wagner Group forces marched on Rostov-on-Don headquarters in a presumed attempt at mutiny, rebelling against Russia's top military leaders. Now, while the coup was aborted, the actions led to the group's exile, and Prigozhin, for a time, went missing. Ambassador John Bolton, U.S. National Security Advisor during the Trump administration and U.S. Ambassador to the UN under George W. Bush, with us right now. From what we know, was this a revenge killing of Prigozhin's attempt at defecting?
Well, there's still much that we don't know, but this fits a pattern of how Putin deals with his opponents. And I think it was widely commented on by people at the time of the mutiny that Prigozhin's life expectancy had been shortened dramatically, and I think that's what happened. Just the way the state-controlled media covered it, they seemed to know when it was going to happen. They took pictures of the plane dropping out of the sky. They had pictures of the plane burning on the ground immediately. We do have comments by Wagner Group leaders. They think Prigozhin's dead. So I think it's pretty likely that is the case, and highly likely that you can trace it to the Kremlin directly.
So even if Putin didn't ultimately make the call, won't this be widely accepted by the Russian people and also interpreted as a sign of strength from a man who is insistent on making Ukraine suffer?
Sure. Look, this is, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding in the West, in the U.S., about Russian public opinion, about the war in Ukraine, and about Putin. I do think Putin's position has been weakened internally, and there's dissatisfaction with the war in Ukraine for two reasons. One is they're not winning, and two is they want a strong leader who's going to bring them success. So I think this enhances Putin's popularity among Russians. They don't say, oh, my goodness, he killed somebody without due process. They say the boss is back in form. And they're going to expect to see the same in Ukraine, which is why I'm really worried that the consequences for the battlefield may be more negative here for Ukraine than people are hoping, and that this can give Putin a basis sometime in September or October to say, you know, this war has gone on long enough. Let's have a ceasefire and have the new de facto boundary of Russia be along the line of control his troops now hold.
Well, and the Wagner Group, I believe particularly they were focused on the Donbas region. But obviously this is upsetting, unsettling for that mercenary group. Has it completely disbanded? Do they find a new leader? Are they still aiding in contract with Moscow?
Well, remember, the Wagner Group was created by Prigozhin at Putin's request to give Russia a deniable military capability in the Middle East and Africa and elsewhere. And I think one reason it's taken 2 months for Prigozhin to meet his end is that Putin wanted to be sure that, to the extent he could, there wouldn't be another rebellion by Wagner Group personnel. It's interesting. It's reported that Prigozhin's number 2 was also on that plane, perhaps other top Wagner Group leaders. So this all worked out very conveniently. Putin obviously wants the capabilities the group has to continue on the battlefield in Ukraine, in Africa, in the Middle East. They're setting up new camps in Belarus. I think what he wants to do is use those forces in conjunction with regular Russian military forces to help, particularly in Ukraine now.
The script plays out as something, like you said, is perfect for the playbook for Putin and Moscow. But it's also something that for the American people and for the global audience, it's not surprising. It's very strange to see these videos of a man who seems, to have lost confidence in the leaders that he originally aimed to partner with, Moscow's military. Now he's dead. I mean, what does this say to America and to others in the West who are hoping to see that Putin has weakened some over the course of this war, only to actually see maybe a move that's emboldened him, at least among his own people?
Look, there are many countries around the world where strength is prized more than democratic values, and people want a strong, stable leader. It's not a question of ethnicity or anything like that. It's a question of longstanding history and culture. They don't play by the same rules in Moscow that they do in Scarsdale, New York, and you're seeing that lesson right now. A number of major, what we used to call third world countries, are meeting in South Africa, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and they're inviting new members to come in. They're inviting Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Iran. I mean, this is not a good club for some of those countries to be in, but they don't seem unduly concerned about this behavior. And I think that should waken Americans up that the whole world doesn't share exactly the same values we do.
Yes, certainly not. And historically, never.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.